Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mike Kollin at crackthefemalecode.com. Alright, so today we're going to talk about why it is that men don't like to play the cat and mouse game, especially when a woman is teasing him sexually. It's because it rips his heart out. We do not like to be teased. But as I said in the last video, women love to play the cat and mouse game. It's what keeps the relationship exciting for her. So you need to do it to her, not the other way around. Her system is wired differently than yours. I know it seems bizarre, but it's from the male's perspective. But the more you see it from the female's perspective, you're like, oh, so this is the way she's wired. Yes, it'll make for a very happy, fulfilling relationship. And if you don't do it, well, you're not going to have a very happy relationship. She will not be content. Now, as you've been following these videos, you're understanding like, wow, there really is a code. There's a series of codes. It's not just one code. And you haven't even taken the course yet. There's a lot of patterns you're going to learn, and that, I'm not even going to try to explain it right now. So let's get right to the lesson. All right, so watch this. All right, so I'm in psychology class. I do not remember the name of this class. What psychology class? It was like the 5th or 6th one I took. Professor's name was Dr. Barbara Paveo. She did a very interesting test or a study or however you want to say it with us, the students. So she said, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to write on the board men over here and women over here. I'm going to, make a mark for every vote for, each side. She goes, but first the ladies have to go outside. And now before you go outside, here's what we're going to do. And she says, before I tell you, you cannot belittle the opposite sex. You can't make fun of them, okay? You've got to promise. And she looked at the women. The women are like, yeah, okay, like, what is it? And so she goes, okay, so here's what it's going to be. The question is going to be this. What's more important to you, love or sex? No, actually, I think she said, what's more meaningful to you? Maybe it was meaningful and important to you. Love or sex. And all the women immediately started berating. Oh, we already know what the answer is for men because men don't care. And she goes, no. She goes, stop it right there. You can't try to intimidate the men into voting a certain way. Because the answer is absolutely shocking on both sides of the fence. It's not what you think. So she made all the women get up and go out of the classroom and wait outside, and she closed the door, okay? So what happened was we had a little discussion. So she goes, all right, first of all, raise your hand. What's more important to you? Is love more important to you or is sex more important to you? And all the men, she goes, guys, it's important for you to answer honestly. And all 100% of the men said sex is more important. But watch this. So the women come in and they saw the numbers and they're like, oh, see, I told you. And they were and Barbara Paveo, she got really pissed off. She goes, I'm not kidding. If you do that again, I'm kicking you out of the class for the day. She goes, okay. And we're like, damn, like, what's going on? So the men went out, closed the door, and the women voted. And we came in and women chose love. Now, here's why. We had a discussion. So she asked the cocky woman who kept, really berating the men. And, oh, men this and men that. They don't care about love, blah, blah, blah. And she goes, no. So let me ask you a question. She goes, so why is it that sex isn't more important to you? And here's what she said. She goes, well, because sex is meaningless. And all the men were like, wait, what the fuck? Meaningless? What are you talking about? So all the women are like, well, yeah, sex alone is just meaningless. There's no meaning to sex. And as a man, I was just like, wait, what the fuck? So then what happened? She asked if anyone in the room was married. And there was one guy in the class that was married. He was a little bit older than the rest of us. He goes, yeah. He goes, well, I'm married. And she goes, why is sex so meaningful to you? And he had said that. She goes, sex is the most meaningful thing in the world to me. He goes, it opens my heart. He goes, when I'm with my wife, I can't be any closer physically or emotionally than when I'm actually intimate with her and making love to her. And all the women went, aww. And then Barbara looked at the women and goes, so now what do you think? And women are like, well, I didn't realize that's what sex meant to men. I just thought men didn't care. Are you ready to go deeper and learn the real truth? Alright, so here's what's really going on. Now watch this. This is going to blow your fucking mind. Let me pull a chart in here. Hold on a second. Okay, so as I said before in the past, I'll go really quick over this. So women connect first mentally, then emotionally. They don't have a choice, and then they connect sexually. So to women, the emotional fulfillment needs to come first before sex, because otherwise they won't get emotional fulfillment. If you go from the groin sexually, vagina, connect penis to vagina, and she can't go up. So there's like a barrier. Imagine I drew a line from left to right between number 2 and number 3, from her emotional and her physical. She can't go up that way. It's like a barrier. She just physically can't. But men, now watch this. Now for men, the way you open up to your heart to receive that emotional fulfillment, that feeling of being content and calm and everything feels good, is by having sex. Technically, it's done through an orgasm. And again, I'm going to say it again, because it's important for this video. When men have an orgasm, there's a chemical called oxytocin that's released. And this is why we have sex. Because this chemical is like a drug. Well, it actually is a drug. And it relaxes every nerve, every fiber, every cell in our body. And we completely relax and everything feels good. More importantly, when the chemical it goes through the blood system, through the artery system, it hits an artery in the lower reptilian brain. And it relaxes it. Now, why this is so important? Because once it relaxes, it opens wide open and it lets a lot of blood, which carries the fuel for the brain and the muscles to function on, which is oxygen and glucose, okay? Or glycogen. I always get this mixed up. So that's the number 1 and number 2 food source for the brain and for your muscles. So when this opens up and it floods the brain with this, it allows you to open up to your right brain, which is the emotional brain, which is what you feel in number 2 in your heart chest area. So this is why sex is the most meaningful thing in the world to a man. Now, women cannot relate. If you were to teach it to her the way I just taught it to you and explain how oxytocin acts as a relaxant, etc., opens up the artery, thus opening up to your emotional processor, your right brain. Whenever I say that, they're like, "Oh my God, I thought men just didn't care." I'm like, no. The groin, sex, is literally the doorway to a man's heart. It's not the stomach. Sadly, women don't understand this, and they vilify us and they demonize us because we're wired differently. A lot of you have been punished for this. Now here's the deal. It's because she doesn't get her emotional fulfillment. She wants the same thing that you get, but she doesn't and can't get it sexually. So here's the deal. When she sees you whole and complete and satisfied and you're open to your emotions, she's pissed off because she's like, fuck, what about me? And you're just there all content and falling asleep. Here's the deal. This is where many women literally destroy their marriage. Now here's why. She's angry at you because she thinks you don't care. She thinks you're selfish because you got your emotional fulfillment. Well, here's the deal. Men assume, well, we had sex. She had a physical orgasm, so doesn't she feel this? No, she doesn't. But here's the deal. You didn't know that. And she doesn't know that you don't know that. And she doesn't know that you don't know that the way that she opens up to her heart to receive emotional fulfillment is through communication, the hidden right brain way of communicating. And this is where the phrase, all is fair in love and war, comes from, because women really believe, well, he just doesn't give a fuck about me. Look at him sitting there all content and happy. And here I am. I'm not even open up to my heart yet. And he just doesn't give a fuck. He's just a selfish bastard. So after months and months and even years of this, women are like, oh, okay, motherfucker. So now what she does is she hurts you. She says, oh, you got a little penis. Oh, you're an idiot. Oh, you don't make much money. And she will fucking attack you in all these different ways, while your heart is open emotionally. So I tell women, I go, look, after a man has sex, he is completely wide open emotionally. Do not attack him. Don't say mean things. Just be loving and kind, because he is very vulnerable in that moment, and you could literally damage him emotionally when it comes to trusting you ever again, because this is his open heart and he is open to you in this moment. When you attack him, you will damage him for life, especially when it comes to dealing with you. So one thing men need to understand when you go back to that chart, I probably should have left it up here, is that women connect mentally and then emotionally. When you successfully open her up in this way, she is just as sensitive emotionally because her heart is wide open. The thing is, men don't think so because we haven't had sex yet, so he's not there, so we assume she's not, when actually she is, and you can damage her. And this is why a lot of men are like, what is she so upset about? Like, well, dude, listen, you were being a dick. Well, yeah, but I'm just joking. Yeah, while her heart is wide open. You damaged her. And some women actually know that when men have sex, they'll attack you on purpose because they know it hurts you really bad. They may not know why, but they know that it hurts you really bad. It's their way of getting revenge. So this is why men don't like to play the cat and mouse game, because our system is the direct brain. And when you do the cat and mouse game, you tease us sexually, it's like you're ripping our fucking hearts out. And this is why we don't like it. But to women, it actually gives them mental stimulation and emotional fulfillment, which is a requirement because she has to go mental, then emotional, and then sexual. Okay guys, if you want to take it to the next level, then go ahead and buy my book, Crack the Female Code, because that's the next step. Go ahead and click subscribe, click like, and I will see you guys in the next video. Alright.